This is Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of AFL Unpopular Opinions. I am your host Ryan Cook, and joining me is the usual supporting cast of Tom Rockliff, Alastair Lynch, and Sad Bombers fan Jack Lindley. Gentlemen, how are we? How was the weekend?
Good, supporting staff. So you're the man here.
Yeah, the man in charge.
Beautiful.
It's me in the driver's seat.
Good weekend. Probably two scrappy games that I saw. Brisbane Dogs to start with, which was scrappy.
Weather affected.
Yeah, a bit.
Came in though pretty heavy before.
Yeah, well, it was 10 mils in the 45 minutes before the bounce, then a bit of drizzle. But Lions kicking, that's a issue, kicking for goal. We've seen that in past years. And then, what was it, North Melbourne, Sydney, which didn't reach any great heights at the SCG. Outside, Isaac Heaney having his best game of his career. So,
And Grundy as well. He was still good, wasn't he?
Grundy was just tapping it to him all game and just goal after goal.
He was. Big Reg, he slaughtered a couple of kicks. So what was he? Little check side out of the goal square and laced out of North forward.
He had 62 hit-outs.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, Sherry wasn't there.
Yeah.
Coleman Jones went down with a calf in the first quarter. The poor bugger, and so
had to take
so he didn't have a lot. But yeah, Grundy. So what is it? I'm not sure where he sat. I'll check it out. But he would have been close. But here he's had the last 6 games previous to the one on the weekend. He's been in the top 4 rated players on the ground. The last 2 before that were he was number 1. So he would have been thereabouts again. He's a rich vein of form.
All Australian form.
Yeah, which will be interesting to see which way they go. Because he wasn't poor at the start of the year, he just was doing his job. But now he's been outstanding.
Well, he's back to what he was there as the super running player that spreads from the contest so well. But I can't recall him ever just lacing out the sort of behind the ear old taps and getting goal assists like that. I don't think he's
probably
done that before?
Not like that.
He's feeling himself, but is it time for you to concede that Sydney can't?
Hang on.
These are the big questions, Jack.
Yeah, I'll pull my hand up.
Yeah. What? They're out?
They can't make it now. So after the weekend's results, unless one team completely fall, or probably need 2 teams to completely fall over, but with the upset on the weekend, Fremantle getting the job done, I'm going to give Giants the win against the Swans as well.
Yep.
So they can't make it. They're too far back.
They're just out to wreck other people's seasons.
Which I think they still can on the way home. I think they're more than capable to do that on the way home. You wouldn't want to come up against them the way they're playing. Like they weren't super on the weekend, but their run home, they can still upset a few. Like they would Friday night, they probably want to upset the Giants. Push them
massively,
so they could effectively finish their top 4 hopes of Giants, which could go either way. They'll probably ruin Essendon's season. They've got them on the way home. And then Brisbane.
Still hope.
So they got Brisbane and Geelong as well. So they can potentially upset the Lions and force them out of the top 2 if they can upset there, and then also finish Geelong's top 4 hopes as well. So those 2 teams, they probably have an axe to grind as well.
So who are the 2 teams, or maybe more than 2, that you see coming out of the 8 potentially?
Yes, well, you're not going to be too happy with me, Ryan, because
so you've got the Hawks, have you?
I have the Hawks. Just on the predictor, I went back this morning and had a quick look and thought I'd throw in the games and see who slips out. I have the Hawks and Swans missing. So the final 8 I have Collingwood on top, the Crows to finish 2nd, Brisbane 3rd, Cats 4th, Suns, Freo, Dogs and Giants.
Suns in 5th.
So to reinforce that your tipping's putrid, so you got Hawthorn beating Carlton this weekend.
Yep.
Losing to Adelaide in Adelaide.
Yep.
And then the Pies at the MCG, losing that one. Melbourne, MCG. Win that one.
Oh, how could you tip Melbourne?
Yeah, no. I just didn't know where you were going. And Brisbane Hawthorn here at the Gabba.
And Brisbane
last game.
Yeah.
Rightio.
And does that also mean you've got the Suns beating the Lions in the Q Clash this week?
No.
You wouldn't.
No, they don't win this week.
Not even Tommy.
No, he's not game to do that.
Well, you wouldn't do that.
No.
They're not going to beat Brisbane.
No, Brisbane will beat them. I have the Lions coughing up 1 or 2 on the way home, though. So who do
They
I
got
have?
the Pies at the MCG.
Yeah, Pies.
Yeah.
Pies will be a big game, and then they also play Adelaide down there. So that could be for who finishes top 2. If Brisbane win that on the road, they win that, they probably finish top 2, and then they've got to go to Freo as well.
So who's your favourite for the flag? Oh no, you find it hard to tip Adelaide, are you?
I'm not tipping Adelaide. There'd be nothing better than straight sets for them. Finish top 2, home final, see you later. It'd be also good. I mean, I don't want to mention it. Like, I'd hate to curse them, but the collie wobbles might be a thing again.
Oh, we haven't had that word uttered on this podcast all year. So.
They are starting to wobble at the post, aren't they? Like, Craig McRae's always found a way to get his team up and win those close ones.
Can I borrow a term that you used to use? Kissed on the dick.
Yeah.
Do you think the footy gods have swung back around?
Well, they always do. They always do. Lynchy will attest to this. If you go on a run, it always evens out. It might take a 3-year, 4-year period to even out, but if you win those close ones, at some point you go on a run of losing them. Yep. So they've won, I think it was they may have won 20 out of 27 by sort of under a kick in close finishes, or maybe 2 goals Collingwood under Craig McRae. It has a way to even out eventually.
Yeah.
So haven't they lost 3 of the last 4 close ones?
I think so.
Which includes the Gold Coast last week.
So starting to turn slightly for them. Because in past, they would have probably executed against the Suns when they got to the lead. They wouldn't have coughed up that against Freo. And I mean, I don't want to go there, but they had 4 extra blokes working for them yesterday for a period of time, didn't they?
Look at
the umpires.
Really? See, and that's where I missed the last quarter because I flicked over and watched the Gold Coast game, which is an issue in itself.
Not voluntarily.
Well, I thought I'd better watch the Gold Coast game, seeing I've got them this week. But I did hear that the men in white or yellow had a bad last quarter.
They've just been that way most of the season, but they start to pull out those 50-metre penalties and stuff like that. Like, you point at the scoreboard, and then there was another one, the same umpire later, where Jackson says to him, "You're kidding yourself, mate," and doesn't pay it. So there's just no consistency on
That's Swanee's first job, I reckon. Support the umpires by giving us clarity on what the rule of the week is. Now, the AFL have always said there's no rule of the week. There's a rule of the week. They discuss things where they've got to sharpen up. Obviously, the dissent has been drifted from remember it was about 3 years ago, Harris Andrews went like that in the goal, and they paid 50. You go, rightio. So it's drifted back from there. But now, if they're going to tighten it up, tell us. Tell us and tell everyone.
Do you think dissent's more of an emotional reaction from umpires a lot of the time? Like anyone in any environment, someone's going to take something differently than someone else.
Or is it dissent, or is it lack of respect?
Yeah.
That's probably the one. And I don't mind, like, if there's quiz-re a decision, I don't mind that. But if you disrespect the umpire, I'm happy with 50.
Yeah, I'm happy with if you disrespect the umpire, but you should be able to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And the 50 metre, the umpire says you pointed at the scoreboard. So if that's going to be the line for a 50 metre penalty, we're going to see thousands of them for the rest of the season.
There's a difference between that and putting your hands out, appealing a decision, I think.
Yeah, I think, like, if you're going to go someone and dissent, but he's just pointed to the scoreboard and paid it for that. He didn't say that he said anything to him. He just said you pointed at the scoreboard. So if you had pointed at the scoreboard and said you're F-wit, mate, then I think we can accept that it's a 50
No, absolutely.
penalty.
Fair with that.
But if you're going to point, so we've got to get some consistency. Like, it's a shame that we're talking about that now instead of the footy that's being played, that we're still not sure what's going to get paid. The 50s have snuck back in where you're in that protected area, which it doesn't affect.
What about the double goal penalties as well?
I've seen a couple of them on the weekend as well,
the
didn't we?
Sicily one in the Port Adelaide game early,
In the Suns game, there was one. Was it Mac Andrew has given someone a clip? Yeah,
he was fired up, wasn't he?
Yeah, and again, I don't mind that, but I think that's where it is disappointing. I think there's been so much talk about the umpiring week in, week out. The AFL needs to come out and be strong in support and give direction, even like the goal review. We have told the umpires that they've got to, if any doubt at all, they've got to review it, because that's what it looks like. Because some of them you go, well, why are you reviewing that? But if their instructions from above has been you've got to review it if there's the slightest amount of doubt, tell us so again that we can communicate with everyone.
So off the cuff, you two footy lovers, Lynchy, you've played it. What would you prefer the number one change to be? Would it be the umpiring and rule changes, or the tribunal and the matrix?
I think the rule changes need more interest right now. The main rule I have a problem with is marks getting paid that are clearly out of bounds. And Lynch, you and I spoke before we started recording about the one on Friday night around the goals there. They got reviewed and it took 5 minutes. The game is way too long. I think that's a bigger issue than blokes getting, 1 to 4 weeks for a concussion.
Yeah, I think I'd go the umpires. I know the frustration around the tribunal, and I think that's a reasonably easy fix. But yeah, support of the umpires, clarifications on their direction, and simplifying the rules a little bit. We make it far too hard for the umpires. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. More clarification around it, even announcing what rules they're targeting at the start of each week, or after the week, just a review on what they've done that round.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Well, I'm probably
tribunal?
Yeah, because you want your best players out there. So the one for me is the Zach Bailey one. Like how that can end up being a week when the player doesn't go off, doesn't get a HIA, doesn't do anything. Yes, the slightest bit of contact head on head,
which was accidental.
We can't have that being a week.
No.
We can't have someone losing a Brownlow medal. Not that it's all about that, but we want to see our best players playing. And if you can't be missing for that. We've seen Sherry go for 3 weeks, which you could argue, is it there? Yes, he's knocked the bloke out. It's a swinging arm, but I mean, benefit of the doubt to 200-centimetre players. They're not really intelligent at the best of times. But then you've got a Stephen May this week, which...
So where do you sit on that one?
Well, I think he's in strife.
Yeah.
Give us a number.
You reckon he's in strife?
He's got a history of
Bloody
it.
oath he's in
Give
strife.
us a number.
I think they'll make a statement. It might be 4 to 6.
Yeah,
I think he's done for the year.
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of talk about whether it's anything or it's. I think it is because he tucks the arm. Like if you don't want to get a week, just wrap, roll out, open your chest up. He's going to hit him with the chest anyway.
They say dropping the arms is what they should be doing, but you could see kind of cocks his elbow a little bit, even though it's a split-second thing.
It's a split-second thing.
It's a quick decision to make, but I think the only way you can do it is if you go to tackle now.
Yeah.
And then,
He'd argue that I thought I was going to get the ball, so that's why he wasn't thinking of tackling.
And he's been a frustrated boy for the last 3 or 4 weeks, so that's going to play a part in it.
He's got a long list. I'm on that list. He got me one day at the Gold Coast.
Oh, really?
Did he?
On the chin.
Oh,
Put me in the next week.
He put Steph Martin into 4 weeks' time.
Yeah. So he plays on the line, which I think you like about him as well. I think you'd love to play with him.
Yeah.
He plays on the ball. Yeah, but he's in a bit of strife.
Yeah, I would say it'd be 4 weeks, I'd imagine. I heard on Fox last night a few pleading the case for him to get him off.
Yeah.
There's a bit of each way, isn't there?
Yeah, Dicko and Joey Montagna.
And then you got Kingy.
Kingy was striding the other way. Yeah, but no, I think it's a high contact. The bloke's been smashed.
Yeah.
I think he's.
But as a former player, and you're in that situation where the ball's in the middle, and you coach to go head over the ball, straight at the ball, and especially when it's bouncing and you don't know
which way it's
are you going to get a good bounce towards you, or is it going to bounce back that way? How do you know? At what point do you know I've got to?
You got to roll the dice.
The opposition player.
Yeah.
Well, I think if anything, you probably just got to do what Jason Ackermanis used to do and turn those hard balls into loose balls.
Because he's too fast.
Great reference, that one. Great.
Nice.
You just got to beat your opponent to the footy. So I think you're making decisions all the time out on a footy field. And Stephen May made one where he's pressed forward. He's done the right thing, probably in team scenario to press forward and try and close that space. But right at the end, you've got to make a decision, and you've probably got to either. And I think you almost have to pull out. I think we've seen players this year pull out of certain scenarios where they've gone, oh, this is going to be dangerous. So there is a responsibility to protect the head. You want to see players go after the footy though. So it's a catch-22. Unfortunately, at times you're going to have instances like that.
Just before we move on, you guys in the media talking about umpiring, do you find it frustrating when you're calling these games and you don't have your head around the rules? Like, does it feel like it makes you guys, I guess, look stupid in a way? Or
I don't think it makes us. I think you get
like
frustrated. Guessing. Like the thing that you should be able to do in any game, any sport in the world, is have someone that's never seen it before sit them there and be able to explain the rules to them. I don't think any of us could do that. I don't think a player could sit there and do it. I don't think an administrator could do it. I don't think a commentator could sit there and definitively say each way. Like you see rock contest every week and you don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah,
well, they don't, do they?
No.
They've got no idea. When the whistle blows, the two ruckmen looking at the umpire going, is it me? Or
Yeah.
no idea whatsoever. So, yeah, I think it's frustrating that we've got to observe the new things that are coming through, the new interpretations, because there's so much interpretation.
Yeah.
So that part's frustrating.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same team, essentially, the AFL, media, fans. Let's get more interactive and help us with the information, saying this is where we're focusing and this is why we're doing that. We're not, and that'll take a bit more pressure off the umpires, and I think we'd be more sympathetic to the umpires because of what the information they've been given, which is a bloody hard job to do.
And you spoke about it before, about speeding the game up as well, so the reviews take too long. But the other one is the ruck. The ruck contest I reckon you could take 5 minutes of actual time off the game easily, probably longer, by waiting for the ruck contest.
Yeah.
Just throw it up.
Chuck it straight up.
Yeah.
Bring back the third man up. That used to be a good rule that teams could implement if they didn't have a number one ruckman out there, like we've seen on the weekend.
Yeah.
When you lose your ruckman in a game, so you've got Grundy who's dominating the 62 out. If you can all of a sudden get third up, you might be able to clear the contest. You're not waiting at boundary throw-ins. You're not waiting for ball ups for them to run from one side of the ground to the other, for them to nominate, get a metre apart and throw it up. Like it could speed up the game so quick. Like that's one that I would look at straight away.
And in turn, that opens up the game because your midfielders haven't got time to set up your structures around the stoppage because you're waiting for the big ruckman to get over there. So it's 30 seconds, sometimes to wait. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but you've got a lot of time to set up your structures. So just toss it up before the structures get in place. It's going to flow better. But you save a lot of time there. And we see it all the time with the boundary umpires. They're waiting, they're looking over their shoulder for the old dinosaurs to come across, and just chuck it in.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon boundary umpires just run in 5 metres straight away and just throw it.
Yeah.
Ever ready? You have to
Get it
say
right.
ever ready before you do it.
Ever ready? just toss it in.
Yeah, gee, there's a list for Swanee to address.
Yeah.
He's going to be a busy man.
Well, there was one, the two in the Brisbane game, sort of goal line reviews. One was late, Liam Jones, they thought he juggled, but look, they were 9 points down and the Dogs had to go. With the review, which took a minute at least, Brisbane all set up. Liam would have actually been better off saying, it's a point, pay the point, and I'm off straight away before Brisbane set up.
Yeah.
The other one was down the other end, the city end at Brisbane. Bailey Dale's come back and they thought he juggled it, but so he's taken the mark, then crossed the line, and then gone straight out the other side through the points. So that is in the rules. That's a point.
So he's played through the goal and then went out.
Yeah, so he's played on.
Yeah.
So what they've done though is gone goal review. Has he marked it inside? Then they said, "Yep, that's a paid mark." If that was a 1 point game, there would have been a massive blow up because they've actually taken the point off. It was Brisbane's point.
Yeah.
And so they've taken it off. Now Bailey Dale kicks from the goal square because he took the mark.
Yep.
But he took the mark and played on and gave a point away.
And he didn't have the sense to do the opposite.
No.
Yeah.
No, so anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's frustrating.
There's a lot to fix.
Yes.
A lot to fix. In what's going to be a tight finish, as we just went through the top 8, like there's going to be one or two really good teams miss out and potentially the top 4. So everything's got to count at the back end of the year.
Well, let's talk about Fremantle because they're the storyline of the weekend. And I'm keen to bring you in here, Jack, because Patrick Voss kicks 6 goals, ex-Bomber. How does that make you feel?
I mean, he's not kicking 6 goals for us. It doesn't matter who he is. So
You're not getting 6 entries.
yeah, exactly. No, I can't bemoan him for kicking 6 goals, but the list management has been atrocious for 15 years, so it's nothing new. And he's fit as well. He's not injured. So
Yeah, that's well. You did fire your fitness.
Yeah, exactly. One
last
step
week.
in the right
Yeah.
direction. They're like, all right, 12 injuries. That's the point where you've got to go, mate. But no, I'm happy he kicked 6 because it meant Collingwood lost. But other than that, pretty down on it.
It's a good down on Essendon. It's a good win from Freo.
Yeah,
because some of the key stats as well. Like they were about minus 23 or something inside 50s. That's a lot of ball down. And they've come up against a Collingwood where Nick Dacos has another 43 touches and puts on a clinic. So,
well, the one for Freo is Sarong.
Yeah.
So Sarong is I think the line is 28. If he has over 28 disposals, they're now 10 and zip.
Wow.
If he has under 28, I think they're 2 and 6. So he's the player that you got to go after. So if you come up against Fremantle, you've just got to put time and effort into him. And we've seen teams that have executed it well had good wins against
James Jordan
against Fremantle. So Sarong, he's their barometer. He's their heartbeat. I think he'll be club cap. Is he club? He's not club captain yet. He will be.
Alex Pearce is captain at the moment. But you're right.
He's the barometer for them.
Yep.
So 37 and kicked a goal. Whereas a couple of weeks ago it was. James Jordan played on him, held him to about 11 touches, and James kicked 2 goals himself the other way. And I think in the pre-match on Fox, they were talking to Fly, and he sort of said, well, they had plans for him, and they're not going to tag him. Yeah. And some clubs don't, but you got to put some time. You can't be running around with that much free ball.
His score involvements, clearances, contested footy through the roof. So he 16 contested. He's had a day out. He probably gets the 2 votes. Voss gets the 3, and Dacos.
You got it that way. Wow.
I would go that way, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Which way would you go?
It's a midfielder award, so that's all.
It's a midfielder, but I mean, 6 out of 12, you've got to go to the key forward, whether they see it that way or not.
They really do, though.
No, they don't. So it'll probably be Dacos.
Dacos probably gets the 3.
And then they'll probably get the stat sheet with the 43 disposals and get him over the line. The interesting thing in that game, I know you probably missed the end. Did you boys see the last 30 seconds? So Collingwood didn't actually tackle the Fremantle players to allow the footy to come out.
Yeah.
So they'd get them almost to the ground, and then they'd peel off and sort of sit on them, which is a different tactic that we haven't seen before. So Collingwood have clearly trained for this, and they're the masters of it, and maybe we've missed it over the last couple of years, but they execute a tackle but then let them go so that they don't get the stoppage, allow it to set up. They'd prefer it in a free flow ball movement, force the Freo player to knock it out.
Bit of an AFL 9s move there.
Yeah.
Touch,
it is,
got 2 steps to get rid of it.
Do you think a runner's come out and told them that, or do they have that already pre-programmed?
It would be pre-programmed. So all summer, that's what you practice, and it'd be the sign would go up now because the runners aren't allowed out there. They put the sign up.
Yeah.
Be interesting what the sign would be.
Yeah.
How creative they got with that sign.
You'd be about emojis, wouldn't you, Lynchy?
What would you make the sign for?
Non-touching.
No,
That's what it is.
Don't touch me.
Just the
gloves.
MC Hammer or something.
No hammer time.
So, going back to your votes, Voss has had the biggest impact on the game, hasn't he?
Yeah, I gave him 3.
Yeah, 3.
If I was voting on it,
But just thinking, if you're an umpire voting,
I think if
not an analyst.
I think if you were watching the game from a media point of view, or it'd be interesting. I think he'll get the 10 coaches' votes.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. And if you watch that game, you'd have to give him best on ground. And then it's a toss-up. I would have gone Sarong, just impact. I think he had more score involvements, more involvement in the game and more important. And then Dacos with the 1. And obviously with Freo winning the game, it falls in their favour.
Yep.
Yes, all right. So he's got him covered with Sarong's 9 score involvements, 8 for Voss. Given
Good weekend for the Vosses in general.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that was, I mean, good for Carlton to get a win. But where are Melbourne at? For you're the greatest demon of all time. He's 200th?
Yeah.
This weekend? Yeah.
It was just gone.
It's already gone,
200th. They couldn't get up for him.
They would have been... They'd be reflecting back saying we should have traded him last year when he wanted to go. You would have thought. They got to rejuvenate this list.
Everyone talks about Carlton and the pressure. Goodwin, I know he's won the flag, so it probably takes a little bit of pressure off, but has to be under the pump, doesn't he?
Well, it has to be. It has to be. I mean, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I think they'll stick with him. But, he's under the pump. Tell you what, Pickett, since he signed that monster deal, hasn't missed a beat.
Worth every cent.
Yeah, exactly.
He had 4 games this year now where he's kicked 5+ and 20+.
From both pockets last game.
That's extraordinary. That is extraordinary. I've still got the question mark on the 10 years or whatever he signed, but my goodness, he's playing some great footy.
I think there was headlines last week too that Bailey Fritsch might be gone at the end of the year through the trade, and I think Viney was another name that was floated around as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the list management at Melbourne.
They probably need to refresh their midfield a bit.
Yeah.
They need a key forward. They need a Harry Mackay. They need someone like that. Max Gawn's obviously coming towards the end. He's certainly closer to the end than the start. He's still got a couple of good years left. I don't think, there was a bit of talk about him potentially getting Jackson back. He would add to him, and he'd be certainly a good player, but I don't think you'll rip him out of Freo.
Yeah.
But they need, I think probably they could go after a Harry Mackay or someone and move a Bailey Fritsch. Because Bailey Fritsch in Carlton's front half would be a different dynamic as well.
He's only 28. He sort of feels like he's much older than that, and he's always been a reliable set shot. So I think he'd be a huge get for anyone.
Well, he'd have some value, so he's probably a good one, as you're saying. But they've got to rejuvenate the list.
Yeah.
They've got to find a forward. Their young forwards just haven't really kicked on as yet. So
Van Ruin.
Yeah. He hasn't quite. Now, it might take a bit more time. He might go to centre half back. But, he's still got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, and even I was listening to Goody on SEN last week. He's saying Melksham's still the man, but Melksham's 32. You've got to look ahead.
Well, Melksham, he'll be patting Melksham on the back and talk about coaches' votes. He'll be getting coaches' votes a lot, but that's a concern that you got that role and that age player being your best forward.
Yeah.
He's playing a fantastic role each and every week. He does some great things. He's hard nut. He can kick goals. He's negating at times, like the Harris Andrews being his best game. But that's short-term view. Yeah. That's not long-term at all.
We briefly touched on them. We probably haven't spent enough time on them. The Adelaide Crows, could they win it?
Absolutely.
They've got the tools.
Yeah. That is a scary forward line, what they've got going on down there. Yeah.
They complement each other all very well, don't they? They're not three powerhouse key forwards. Fogarty's a lead up type. Tilthorpe's your man deep. He can take them from anywhere, and Tex is a lead up as well.
Yep.
Then you supplement it at ground level with Neil Bullen, Rankin. Even Keezy, to a degree, plays a different role. He's the defensive type. So they all complement each other really well. Dawson through the midfield. Their defence was the question mark, but they've stood up really well.
Very well.
And the footy doesn't get in there as often because it's their midfield's on top and getting it forward. So
you would think if, say, whether it was Collingwood or Brisbane, they match up reasonably well. And you're right with their key forwards, which was a question at the start of the year, but they don't run into each other. They really jump at each other and spoil the ball. So, no, they're very good. And I think they've got... So, Keezy would play a good role, and it'll be interesting when they come up against Brisbane. He'd play an important role because no doubt he'd tag Dane Zorko.
Yep.
And I think we've seen it a couple of times with Zorko, how constructive he is and destructive against the opposition with his kicking. Teams need to put more time into him. I think in the GWS, was it prelim, semi-final, Pete Lim went to him and had him on toast at half-time. I think Pete Lim had kicked 2 goals, held Dane, and I reckon Dane had coughed up a couple himself. Then Dane was one of the key players to win it for him. And against Sydney in the grand final, James Jordan went to him in the first quarter, but then because McCluggage got off the chain, Jordan had to go into the midfield. Yep. So teams are looking at it, but I'm surprised they don't do it more.
And you can get under his skin early on as well. He gets a reaction out of him. So.
And that's an issue with his foot as well. He hurt his foot on the weekend. Sounds like a strained ligament in that Liz Frank ligament.
Which, if it's bad, probably puts him out for a period of
niggly
time.
one, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I think that they're thinking just to have to put up with the pain for the rest of the year. So that's not great.
And they've got, I'm just looking at the Crows' upcoming fixture. They've got 3 home games starting this week with the showdown. And we'll talk about Port in a second because Ken Hinkley has well and truly put the cue in the rack with his reaction to Guinea's celebration on the weekend. But do you guys trust the Crows away from home now? Because early on they had that loss to Gold Coast. And I think they had another one in Perth, but they have one in Melbourne since. It was always the question mark last year. They can't wear the white shorts, so I think
so.
On that?
They beat the Dogs, which was the one. Besides that, they've beaten Richmond on the road. They probably should have beaten the Hawks down in Tassie as well. So
absolutely.
They've ticked a lot of boxes. It's going to be the first taste of finals for a majority of that playing group, though. So we speak about the Gold Coast Suns, their first time potentially to play finals, how deep they can go. Might be a little bit the same for the Crows. Anything can happen in a showdown. I'd be blown away if Port Adelaide won this one, though. Crows are up and about, and then they've got the Hawks, which could determine whether Hawthorn plays finals or not, so they'll be up and about for that. They generally play that venue pretty well. Then West Coast away, Collingwood at home, and North. So They
bad little stint for them. They've got 3 games at home. With last week, the Suns, then Port Adelaide with the showdown, and then the Hawks at home. So they're going to get themselves into a good position if they can get over those ones we predict they should do.
Yeah, top 4 lock.
Top 4 lock?
I think we can say that, surely.
Yes. Yeah, I think they're a top 4 lock, depending how high they finish. I reckon they may finish top 2, just on my predictor. I don't see them losing too many of them, but Collingwood's a big one at home. But other than that, I don't really see them losing one of those games.
Can't see them on the road losing to West Coast or North.
No.
I mean, West Coast, they had a prime opportunity to win a game of footy and got blown away by...
They're in a bad way.
Yeah.
Blown away by Richmond.
You don't think, and you look at some clubs, you look at Richmond, and you think, no, I can see where they're going to be in a couple of years' time. They'll be better again next year, but a couple of years' time, you can see where they're going to be.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I mean, I don't watch West Coast every week, but you don't see it with West Coast. They're a long way off.
Yeah, their list management build has been funny. So they obviously win that premiership. Then they sell the farm for Tim Kelly, which just didn't work. I think they ended up giving Geelong 3 first rounders from memory. Might have been 2 in 1 year and then 1 the next, or the like. And then Baker, and they gave up first rounders. So Richmond went bang, bang, bang. And now Richmond, you would say, are in a better position in a rebuild phase.
Oh, clearly.
Better.
Would you have them above North Melbourne? I'll just throw them in here. Based on what we saw from North last week?
They've probably got better young, up and coming, I would say Richmond. They're going to be an exciting prospect in 3 years. I'd still have North Melbourne in front. I think they're North, the big indicator for teams on the rebound is percentage, and North's is reasonably good considering they've only won those 4 games and a draw. There's a 76, Richmond's 68.
That's a good point.
So they're in a lot more games, and they've probably coughed up a couple of games that they could have won North Melbourne where they've just tired late or just haven't got the job done. So I would still prefer North Melbourne. I think they'll be a bouncer next year. But again, how high can they get? We expect everyone to probably bounce a little bit somewhat. So I think North are just in front of Richmond, but Richmond in 3 years are going to be a scary prospect again.
I saw North and Sydney on the weekend. North were all right. They just couldn't finish their work with that last kick inside 50, couldn't hit targets and didn't really have a big presence up there as well. But maybe to change that, if there's 2 coaching jobs up for grabs next year, North Melbourne or Richmond, who would you pick? So that's a slightly different way to look at it.
Yeah, you'd pick Richmond, I think.
I think you'd pick Richmond.
Yeah, big club as well. You know that you're going to sell out the MCG. And their talent, they went to the draft. They did it.
Yeah.
They went, all right, we know that Tassie are not too far away. We know there's compromised draft. There's always going to be compromised draft. But they went hard, and I think they selected really well.
And I reckon they identified that draft was a good draft.
Yeah.
So they could go all chips in, whereas maybe thinner drafts, they might have to spread it over a couple of years, but they've gone all chips in and got some good talent.
And that's the thing in the rebuild as well. So Richmond's older players are still playing consistently well, where West Coast, they just don't have them. They've got Tim Kelly, who's a shadow of himself. I can't believe he got another 2 years as well.
It's a funny mix because...
That's unusual.
He was on the fringe, in and out of the team, and they give him 2 years. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Clarko came out last week and said that North aren't going to be chasing those veteran players anymore because they've got to start moving towards the future. So you kind of need a couple, but not too many. It's a fine balance.
Yes, and you need the protection.
I think North made the mistake years ago when they got rid of all their older players. You need to keep your older players. I think Brisbane had that mentality a little bit as well when we got rid of Lukey Power and a few of those older guys. We still need some experience to help the kids come through.
Yeah.
And the Giants did it well. Gold Coast didn't do it well. Lynchy's got it in front of him. If we can get through the election and get the stadium built.
Before we get to that, how do you feel about Richmond potentially playing games in Tassie for a few years?
For a few years, fine.
Yeah.
And it'd be great for Tassie and Tassie footy to have a big club like Richmond playing down there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But get to 28 and then ta-da.
Get your money and leave.
No, absolutely. Well, no, absolutely. Bring AFL live footy, and let's face it, Hawthorn have been great for the state for a long period of time. But when the Devils come into the competition, it's a state team.
Yep.
When you unite the state behind one club.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That's a very important component from the Devils and from the AFL. You wouldn't dilute it at all.
No,
I think everyone from Clubland and the other clubs in the AFL, everyone wants Tassie. Well, everyone needs Tassie to get up and going. It can't be a basket case. Got to get up and going and be sustainable on and off the field. And part of doing that is just one team down there, not others.
There's a big watch for me for one of the most irrelevant teams. I think we touched it last week, St Kilda.
Hang on,
Relocate.
So they've thrown the kitchen sink at everyone in the competition, all reported, and missed every single one. Are they about to make the biggest mistake and lose one that they need to sign for 1.8?
They can't possibly lose it.
1.8 million. Like, if you're going to throw that at De Koning, there's a guy in their midfield.
Yeah.
We can play him halfback, you can play him anywhere. Wanganeen Miller, he was super yesterday against Geelong, kicked the 36 disposals. He is a super talent and has something that not many players in the competition have. He can play multitude of positions everywhere, and there was a centre bounce clearance where he came through and just spat out the front, delivered it deep inside 50. It was a stunning play. If they lose him...
I reckon if they lose him, just grab the roller door and pull it down behind you.
Well, I want 16 teams, so they may be one. If they lose Wanganeen Miller, everyone that asked me who I would get rid of, I'd get rid of St Kilda if they lose him.
If they lose him, pull down the roller door.
The concerning thing is he's not saying much about re-signing.
No.
He's gone, in my opinion.
You reckon he's gone? What's word on the street? You hearing on the socials and all that sort of stuff?
A little bit of inside knowledge, mate.
Look at it.
It's around
Port?
No, well, just no.
No, hang on. You've got inside info.
Aggregate this.
Anywhere, every year, if you get to round 20 and you haven't signed, it's very rare that they re-sign.
They've only just put him into the midfield really too, and he's just smashing.
Like, they're gonna, he's someone you'd want 3 or 4 picks for in the first round. Like, if he leaves, you're gonna have to demand something. But
you find a way to make that work. He can't leave.
If he leaves, what's the point of getting De Koning? There's none.
No, you can't. He can't walk out the door.
You're better off selling the farm then. If he leaves, get your 3 or 4 round picks. Don't worry about bringing De Koning. If you lose him, your rebuild changes completely and you go to the draft and go, we're going to be bad for... I mean, they've been irrelevant since the 2010 grand final. But
So if he was to leave and say 3 first-round draft picks, you're taking 3 first-round draft picks in the hope that one of them's as good as him.
Well, they're not going to be, I can tell you.
Well, that's the thing, no.
But, they have to find a way to keep him.
Yeah, find a way.
They need to throw that at him instead of someone else. So they threw it at, reportedly, Bergman, he turned it down, stayed. Callahan at the Giants, he turned it down. There's been other ones in the past.
Josh Kelly was being tossed up at one stage?
There was reports of a lot that St Kilda, Godfather offers, and they've all said no. If they let this guy slip out of their organisation, I'm with Lynchy. And pull the roller door.
Oh, that'd be terrible. And just going back to the Tim Kelly signing, the re-signing for 2 years, so extension of contract for 2 years, that must be a cap issue. So I reckon they must, it may be when, because you'd imagine if you've got a premiership team and you're trying to top up, he's coming over worth a few bob.
But he was out of contract, isn't he? So there's no need to re-sign him. I would have never let him go.
Yeah, but maybe prior to that, they've had to smooth out his last year or something, because he would have had a heavily back-ended contract maybe.
Potentially, but I thought he was out this year, so there was of whether you keep him or let him go, and I think that's a strange extended him for 2.
If you're Wanganeen Malira, you're just doing a Matty Rowell, signing for 2 years until you see something of progress?
I don't think so. I think you leave. If they don't offer him... he wants to go... If he wants to go to South Australia, he's got 2 clubs. Obviously, form-wise, the Crows is number 1. You can potentially walk into a top 4 team. Port Adelaide were top 4 last year. I think they'll be better next year than what we've seen this year. He goes home where he's comfortable. He's got family, friends. I don't know,
It's 2 years.
Yep, certain. Yeah,
well, he's 22, so he's still a kid. I reckon have a look at this for 2 years. His price is not going down. It'll only jackpot gets closer to the next collective bargaining agreement.
Well, they're going to, If it is, St Kilda need to do one of those ones where it's 2 years plus a trigger that he can decide to stay for 10 if he wants.
Yeah.
But the trigger's all his.
Yeah. It's his decision. So obviously,
22, he'd be 24 years of age, played a couple of years in the midfield. He's going to be worth a fortune.
Still in his prime, yeah.
Oh, he's a star. And going to be a star for a long period of time.
Like if you, and it's the same as the Bombers thing. If you're part of getting St Kilda up, it'll be a great place to be.
Yeah.
Most passionate, loyal supporters you can come across have been starved for success for so long. That'd be a special place to be around.
Yeah, they would be. The big one in chat, I think Zach Merritt came out and said he's never leaving Essendon, but as an Essendon supporter, would you be off him if he did leave? I don't think he could be.
No, I think he's committed longer than most other players would have, and he's always kind of kept a positive mindset with the list and try to work with the front office in terms of where they can take this list. Unfortunately, you can't foresee all these injuries, and I think you might be off him from the fact that, like, this season, you have to throw it in the bin. You can't see if there's been progress or if we've gone backwards. I think you've just got to throw this whole one in the bin and start afresh.
How'd you go watching? Was it Thursday night?
How did we all go?
Yeah, but I would have thought, as a neutral supporter looking at Essendon, with so many injuries, they were just straight kicking away from putting one on the chin of the Giants.
You won the inside 50 battle, so that's
I thought there was some encouraging team at times and players with so many new players in that team.
Then you get Jake Stringer kicking 3 goals on us.
Well, that hurts. And looking ripped. Okay, that's a fair point. But I thought there was encouraging signs for Essendon. In what has been a shocking year for injuries.
Well, yeah, I think they kicked themselves out of it early.
Yeah.
They should have been a long way in front, probably.
It was 7 points.
I think they kicked 8, didn't they? 8 before they kicked a goal.
To
7 goals won.
Yeah, at one point.
Yeah, kicked a goal of points.
Yeah, so.
Played Tom Green back into a bit of form too, which is always good.
Might get him a Brownlow.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of Brownlows. Finn Cowan, as we said, the truck was backed up to him from St Kilda. Geez, another 33. He's as good as there is in the comp.
Just before we take a break, let's fast forward 2 years. Do you think Ross Lyon's still at Moorabbin? So I think there's question marks now over whether or not he's the man.
Well,
and I know you guys, you're pro Ross Lyon, both of you.
No, I like Ross, but the person I feel most sorry for in AFL footy is Brett Ratton. He's been rissoled twice when he had Carlton playing finals and right there.
Yeah.
He had St Kilda in the finals and right there, and they said, no, we want to take the next step and move him on. And Ross comes in and then they go, oh, no, we're rebuilding bottom 4 team now. So there is talk that, is it Enright at St Kilda at the moment, that he's sort of going to take over, so a succession type plan. In 2 years' time, like, Ross has done a great job as a coach, but does he really want to do another rebuild? I would have said no. I would have thought when he started coaching again, he wanted to be Cherry right there. We know he's a great defensive coach, and we've seen elements of that from St Kilda this year, but I can't see him improving that much. And in 2 years, I would say he'd be back in the media, probably back in Triple M box.
I reckon
taking the piss.
Next year he'll be taking the piss, you reckon?
Oh, he takes a piss. He's very good, entertaining.
His Triple M work was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good. Yeah, next year would be a pivotal year for him.
Yeah.
But if you can get that sorted, he'll be there long term.
He's the master manipulator with the media. Just the way he redirects things to non-issues.
Best press conferences there is.
Yeah, I love it.
He's the best, deflector. Like he
gave the one journo a clip and walked out in the press conference last week. It was hilarious. He's very good. He's a good man.
Good on him. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and chat some more. You're listening to AFL Unpopular Opinions. Gentlemen, we're looking ahead at round 19 and some initial thoughts on the fixture aren't good.
Well, is it unpopular or popular, this opinion? I would say
think this is popular.
The scheduling the games is a complete farce and joke at the moment. They have the floating fixture, so the fans get upset because they can't book their holidays or whatever, but they tell us they're going to put the blockbusters on. There's no blockbuster Thursday or Friday night. They knew that there was never going to be a blockbuster when Carlton and Essendon were involved. But that's not the only thing, Lynchy.
No, so you're right. So Thursday night is Hawks Carlton. Friday night is not only Essendon Bulldogs, but it's overlapped by Gold Coast, sort of the Giants and the Sydney Swans. And then it gets better. So you got Gold Coast and Brisbane Lions at 1:20, which is a huge game. Freo West Coast, and then you got the overlap Saturday night, which is fairly typical. But then Sunday. See, I don't understand the double up Friday night is one thing, but then you got a 2:10 game, Richmond and Collingwood on Sunday, and a 3:15 game, which is St Kilda Melbourne. Why have them overlapped? I just don't understand how that's come up.
It's an opportunity to cut into a market where you've got footy on and footy the whole time.
Just back-to-back games.
Have that game on Sunday for scheduling purposes at 12:20. Like there's no issue with starting at 12:20. Sit down for the Sunday roast and away we go. What are you throwing for a roast, Lynch, if you're cooking? You probably don't cook. 12:20 roast into the 3 o'clock
Just
game.
a random drive-by.
So it goes back to back. And
A beef. Or no, a lamb.
we always get
Mince.
the 3:15 game, even though no one they say it flows in the news, which apparently still rates. I don't know anyone. No one in my circle watches the 6 o'clock
It's to
news.
get to bounce. I keep saying this.
To get
Sunday
to
night
bounce
to get to bounce.
is fine.
Well, okay, yeah, but if you're thinking about Fox Footy, they'd be more than happy just to have it on the same channel, I'd imagine. Start at 12:20, into the 3:15, into bounce.
It's a shocking scheduling round because so the Saturday night, which Crows and Port, everyone in footy I think can attest to that's probably the best rivalry, and they always there's a chance that Port Adelaide win this game just because it's a showdown. Even though that they should get pounded, which they may end up getting pounded, but for some reason it never happens. Then you've got Brisbane and the Gold Coast, which you can understand maybe they didn't know. So it looks like it's a derby type round anyway.
I do like that on the Saturday, having the 3 derbies. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's good. But the Friday night, why would you have the 2 games? You knew at round 10 that the Giants and Swans probably were underperforming, but were grand finals from last year, that it was going to be potentially have finals ramifications from it. Essendon were shot to bits. They were okay. They were sort of thereabouts, but they were just going. Why we've got 2 games on a Friday night is beyond me, and why Carlton and Essendon get Thursdays and Friday nights.
So that's on the Swannies list as well. Just tell us. So tell us why there's a double up on Fridays, and tell us why there's the overlap on Sundays.
What they should have done.
Not even worrying about the Essendon and Hawthorn or Carlton fixtures on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
But why are there so many double ups when we don't need it? The calendar's there in place. The time slots are there.
And
Let's use them.
The NRL do it well with the 2 games on the Friday night, but the game's a lot shorter. It's 80 minutes. It's over within a 2-hour window. So they start one at 6 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock, and they're done before the AFL game normally starts and finishes on a Friday night. You can't have a game starting half an hour apart.
Yeah, you're watching one quarter and then switching over for most footy fans. This weekend.
They should have put
Do
Giants.
well to last a quarter on that. I'm sure there's home and away
Watch
or
the
something.
pre-game.
Better Homes and Gardens or something on Friday night.
Whack Giants Sydney, where North and Geelong is playing on Saturday. Then you have the 4 derbies, and then move North Geelong to Sunday. Solves the Friday night problem.
Yep.
That would have been great.
Yeah, just flick a text through to Swanee.
Yeah,
Sort of.
you got that sort of power, don't you, Lynch?
Yeah, I'll flick it to him now. It'll be changed by Monday, Arvo.
He'll be on
Where do you
this.
put Tassie into this when they come in?
Oh, marquee. Little marquee set up.
Friday night every
Yes.
week.
Bye.
Stadium Friday
You
night.
get to verse Essendon every Friday night.
Sign me up.
They probably
have a
beat
good
us.
season.
You know, the Tassie, I like the odds on if Tassie win a final before Essendon.
Oh, this is your next statement. Who will win a finals game first?
I think Tassie.
What odds did you give me?
What about
Well, Tassie would have to be the outsiders.
Tassie, the
Well-
Saints in there, Essendon, Norths.
Well, they've all won, haven't they? They've all won finals since Essendon.
Yeah, okay.
Well, so you've got Gold Coast, Essendon, or Tassie. I would go, so the 3-horse market, I would have Gold Coast $1.10. I think they're a chance to probably win before the other 2. I would go Tassie at $5 and Essendon at 8.
Whew. $8. Are you taking that?
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think it'll be over this year. I think, maybe they don't. Maybe Gold Coast don't win.
What are we on now? 20 years since you've won one?
21, 22.
21 this September, yeah.
Not that you're counting. Yeah. Jeez.
Go to Vegas.
It's been a long dry spell, hasn't it?
Yeah, 21 years. Let's move
Very, mate.
Maybe next week we'll have to go back and find out what's sort of been invented since Essendon last won a final.
What the world was like last time.
What's happened since then? There
on.
was a lot
Much
would have
kinder
happened.
place back then, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
Lynchy was still
Lynchy
listening
was
to
still-
the wireless.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
In on the short
Lynchy
wave.
was playing.
How has it gone? I was going to tune in this morning, but I
Lynchy
don't know,
was thrown.
got sidetracked.
Oh, well, tune in.
SEN on a Tassie. What
Monday
was
breakfast.
the topics? Oh, well, the election.
Yeah, it was the election was topics, and yeah, Swanee's list we did, and got a bit of feedback for Swanee to give him. All things we've covered off on. So no, it's it's going all right. It's good start. Early, getting up early, 5 o'clock alarm clock.
You look fresh.
Oh yeah, fresh. Go back to bed. I reckon.
How was the Gabba on Friday night? Walking around the boundary there?
Yeah, it was good.
Signing babies, kissing babies, signing
It was
autographs?
good until started pouring with rain, belted down there. So yeah, it was good.
I think he's alluding to an ex-host getting in here on the way past.
Yeah, sledging me over the fence.
Jeez. Bit of a clip?
I don't know. I couldn't quite tell, but I saw him over there just singing out to me.
Was he a few deep at that point?
I might have had a couple of pots under the
Just been in the AFL function and taken a couple out.
Can't be doing that.
Surely not. All right, boys, that might do us for this week. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Lynchy. Thank
Beautiful,
you, Jack.
thank you.
Gents.
Cheers, Ryan.
Thanks for listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. Enjoyed the podcasts? Remember to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.